Hello everybody and welcome to the Friday Frenzy hosted by Southbourne District Wheelers. We're here for race number 3 from season 2 and tonight we've got a 10-mile TT on the Tonbridge circuit. It's a slightly challenging course. We've got a quick drop down out of the start. It's a slow drag up to the roundabout and then back we come. Everyone seems to be putting my name up there, but I'm going to be focusing on the commentary this evening. But I will be displaying. We switch over to the webcam. Look at this, look. Got my very own SDW kit that was very, very kindly provided to me by the club, so I'm very chuffed to have this. So don't want to get too sweaty tonight, so I'll be taking it easy. You see, you want to keep it nice and clean. So here we are then on the start line. The kit on in game, kit on in real life. Got 30 riders lining up at the moment. So this is a repeat from season 1. In season 1, the winner did this in 22 minutes 55 seconds. So that's going to be the time to beat this evening. I know a few riders are looking to see if they can beat their times from season 1. Simon Miller looking at a 24:40. Julian Fussell 24:47, only 7 seconds between those two. Chris Duffy sitting in between them, 24:45. So it's going to be a little battle royale amongst those guys, I would think, this evening. So we're just under a minute away from the start. What if I got a bit of green screen perhaps on there? Slightly see-through. So yeah, dual carriageway, Friday evening bank holiday. Yes, this is luckily it's a virtual one and we can dodge all the cars. There's this big down, you can see the profile there at the bottom of the screen. That will give the riders a flying start before slowly ramping up with a bit of a kick up to the roundabout. Away we go. So let's jump to the front of the race then. Look at this, look at the lots of SDW kits. Tom Moss, Simon Miller up there straight away, currently 3rd and 4th. Fraser, Bowyer. And just behind, we've got Neugebauer, Jürgen Janssens, a couple of familiar names. Mark Rowbottom in there from Ratio Racing. He's going to be a contender for sure. He's got an engine. There's me at the back, just cruising. So we come down this steep downhill, up over 60 kilometers an hour. And here's Duffy then. The SCWBs on the front. You've got the Danish rider Pedersen just sitting in behind. And look at those red numbers, people powering up that little lump there. Something just to get the legs working. You know you're in a TT now. So Greg Barnett making his debut this evening, currently in 4th place. You see him there in the black kit, right on the wheels of Fraser. And they're currently 25 metres back from our provisional leader, Chris Duffy. It looks like he's going well. I mentioned he was a 24-minute 45 rider from season 1. As Pedersen just comes past him there. Pedersen up in it, 5 watts per kilo. Now Neugebauer making a little bit of a move as well, coming up to 3rd. Hot on the wheels of Duffy. Just coming past then. Lambert down in 6th place. He's a strong TT rider. Recognise his name from the Team Time Trial. Seasons 1 and 2 of the MREC competition. He was riding for the Canadian Cibois CCS team. And here we see Pedersen pushing on, stretching out that lead a little bit, 33 metres. But Neugebauer, he's not letting him get away easily. And then we've got a little clump just in behind. Barnett, Fraser, Duffy, Lambert, all within 2 or 3 metres. Here they are, look at them all grouped up. And then just behind them, Garwood, Dobson, David Baggy, Mark Rowbottom, the Horacio Racing TT specialist, currently sat in 10th place. Let's work our way back down through the field then. There's Rowbottom just passing Baggy. Jürgen Janssens from the Pedalers team. Going to come back to fitness. I know that he had, unfortunately, COVID-19 earlier in the year. So that took a bit of a knock on his fitness. But it looks like he's starting to find some form again. Up at 4.5 watts per kilo. Very respectable. So this is a ranking event on RGT DB this evening. So you do want to perform well. You certainly don't want to be quitting because that is going to hurt your ranking. So the higher up the field you finish, the better it's going to be for you. That ranking certainly means it's all to play for all the way to the end. I'm just going to get my fan on here, getting a little bit warm. As we see Gardner there just coming past Janssens, along with Rob Miller. They're just picking up a little bit of speed on this downhill section. A little bit of respite. Only 1%. But you certainly notice it and gives you a little bit of a breather. Perhaps just switching through the gears to try and maintain that momentum. So let's keep moving through the field then. Philip Riley alongside Janssens. Then we've got Lee Marshall from the Uncoolers team. He was a competitor in the Tour de Monde series and teammate of Keith Aitchison, who's currently 50 metres back. I know that, so I know they've got a little side bet on this evening. Keith will be slightly disappointed with this at the moment, but we're only a quarter of the way into this event. There's still 11 kilometres to go, and we've still got the majority of the climbing to come. There's over 100 metres of climbing on this course. Currently we're only 14 metres in. But here's Marshall making a little move, coming past Gardner and Janssens there. And then behind those two, this little group then. Race organiser Simon Miller. Not focusing there, he's waving at the camera and he's just lost 2 places. Keith Aitchison coming past. Ed Bowyer as well. Tom Moss, those 3 are all pretty close in the rankings in season 1's race. Tom Moss putting on the power there, look, he's up over 5 watts per kilo. He knows he's on the telly and he's making a move. Real battle between these guys. You can see them. Their numbers are all going into the red. They're currently on Tom Moss. Here's Burr just ahead. 4 SDW riders. You can see Keith Aitchison has gone up the road. He had a bit of a slow start, but he's turned the engine on now. He's coming up on Rob Miller there. Rob maybe just a little bit fatigued after racing in the unofficial Tour Series last night. Keith perhaps just playing very technical, knowing that you want to put your power down on the hills. That's where you get your most bang for your buck. And that's certainly what he's doing here. He now comes up alongside Chris Duffy. He's only 10 metres behind Lee Marshall, former teammate. Since that Tour de Monde competition back in January, Keith has switched over to the OTR racing team on the Rivet. Now Rob responds, and Chris. We hit this slightly flatter section, still slowly uphill, 0.8%. So let's jump to the front then. And now we've got Marcus Garwood. Pretty sure it's Marcus. On the front then, Pedersen, who was leading up into that climb, he's now dropped back to 5th place. Fraser doing well still. 2nd place with Barnett in 3rd. Lambert in 4th. Pedersen 5th. And Neugebauer. No more for his sprinting. He's holding it up there in 6th place. That top 6 then, 50 metres ahead of Mark Rowbottom in 7th. He's in a bit of no man's land. This is 50 metres behind Neugebauer, 50 metres ahead of Dobson, who's got Baggy for company. So they're getting a bit more spread out now on this course. Is Rowbottom. His teammates, Dobson and Baggy, side by side. So no one is yet a platinum rider in the RGT rankings. There's a few riders round about the 50% of their way up through the gold. Everybody starts halfway on silver. If you beat riders, you move up. If you lose, you go down. But if you beat gold riders and you're a silver, you get more points than if a gold rider beats a silver rider. It's all relative to your rankings. So it's not just about positioning well and placing well at the end. It's about who you beat. So if you're a gold rider, you're always going to be wanting to finish up near the front to protect that ranking. So back up at the front of the race. Garwood. Barnett now. Pulling away a little bit from Fraser. The grading gets up to 2% for these leaders. Rowbottom is about to catch Pedersen a little bit further back. Jump up into 6th place. Looks like Pedersen's going backwards at this stage. Possibly just gone out too hard. Keith Aitchison now jumps into the top 10. He's overtaken his Uncallers teammate. Overtaken Rob Miller as our leader goes through halfway through the yellow arch then. Half distance as they now hit the 5% slopes, the steepest part of this course. And Barnett closing in fast here. Is 1 watt per kilo higher output at the moment than Garwood. Here he is, pulling level. Remember, there's no drafting in this event. And he just sails past. Could be that Garwood's just playing a bit more of a steady game. But these two in the black kit currently leading the way as they come up towards the roundabout here where it levels off. We take this big circular roundabout. As most roundabouts are, of course, circular. All the way around before we head back in the direction we've just come from. As Garwood gets back on level terms with Barnett. But these two now 80 metres ahead of Fraser behind. Rowbottom up into fifth then. He's caught and passed Lambert. It looks like he's just struggling a little bit to maintain that higher wattage. As these two now descending on the dark blue section. It's going to be the fastest part of this return leg then. Garwood keeping the power on, stretching that lead out to 25 metres. Using that downhill to their advantage. Trying to pull away. But Barnett's responding. Down under 15 metres now. So we'll check back on those two. There's me on the other side of the road there. Here's Fraser. With Neugebauer 30 metres behind. Rowbottom 130 metres further back. Trying to shake off Lambert. And they've got David Bagg just behind. 60 metres back. Still time for him to catch. Here's Pedersen then. Currently in 8th. But Keith, Aitchison and Dobson. They're only 50 metres behind. And those two will be spurring each other on. We could see them catching Pedersen, our early leader. These two 80 metres ahead of Lee Marshall. So Keith with a little bit of a cushion there in that little friendly rivalry. And then Rob Miller in 12th. Berger in 13th. With Janssens and Riley hot on his tail. Duffy has slipped down to 16th place. Simon Miller in 17th is trying to close that gap as well. He's looking forward at this stage. He's got a big gap back as Simon. 150 metres back here to Gardner. Harriman's. And they've got a nice gap back to Moss. And there's a little bunch here, 4 riders within 50 metres of each other. Peters, Field, and Armand, French rider there, and Dominguez, Portuguese rider. Swapping around places a little bit there. Going to be one to watch towards the end. And a little bit further back, a few more SDW riders. Bonetto. Here's Dennis, just coming off the roundabout to start the descent. Me. And here's Weavers, the youth rider. And they're coming up to the halfway point. Right, back to the front then. Garwood and Barnett. Inseparable at the moment. Only 10 metres between the two of them. We did see it stretch out to 25 metres, but it looks like it has come back a little bit. Fraser holding on to third ahead of Neugebauer still. You can just see them up the distance here. And then Rowbottom and Lambert really close together still. They come down another little section of descent at 5%. You can see Garwood there keeping the 4 watts per kilo on. But Barnett only at 2.5. That gap's not really changing, so maybe he's doing the better job of conserving some energy there. The new herd series, well, it's the new dirt series really, but we're hoping that herd are going to come and join us. And KRT as well, trying to get some Swifters to come over and try RGT. So that's looking to start on Tuesday, June the 1st. It's going to be a 6-race series. And there's going to be 3 time slots per day. It'll be 11 AM GMT, 7 PM, and then midnight. I'm hoping that will open up the series to more riders. That should give the US riders a chance to get in there early morning, 6 AM. Some of them are keen to ride. I struggle to race at that time of day. My legs take all day to wake up normally. Or if they want to ride in the midnight slot, that's their American evening. So yeah, hopefully we'll get some RGT teams, some of the established Swift teams. I know a few of them are riding over here. And what we're hoping to do is have an individual competition and a bit of a team competition with the top 3 riders from each team going towards a leaderboard. And the courses are going to be utilising the Magic Roads feature, but at the same time creating some familiar routes for those Swift riders. So we're going to be going to Innsbruck, but we're going to start off with a nice 30 kilometres along the valley, and then we'll do a lap of the town, not just 4 laps of the town. So it'll be familiar. Up the leg snapper, if you've ridden on Swift, you'll be aware of it. If you know the World Championships, you'll know what that course is like. So it shows the best of both worlds. Same as Yorkshire. London, we're going to be taking in Box Hill, but we'll be going around to Reigate and some of the surrounding area as well. So we're hoping that riders will be able to make a little bit of a comparison, but at the same time we'll be able to offer something new. So that's coming up in June. But in the meantime, we're down to the final 2 kilometres here, and Barnett has made a bit of a move. He's leapfrogged Garwood. He's turned that 10-metre deficit into a 10-metre lead. Neugebauer a little bit further back. It looks like Fraser has dropped down to 6th place. Didn't see what happened there. Not sure if that was a technical, but they were up in 3rd place with Neugebauer. So Rowbottom up to 4th, slowly working their way up, being consistent, but pretty close with Fraser, who's working hard to try and make up for that lost ground. Looks like Lambert is slowly just drifting back slightly from Rowbottom. Those two were pretty close. It's Garwood now trying to respond, just touching into the red numbers there for a second. 22 minutes 55 was the virtual course record. As they go under the Flamme Rouge, we've got a kilometre to go. 1 minute 10 seconds to do 850 metres. Speed is at 40 kilometres. It's slightly uphill to the finish line. Just what you don't want when you've done 15 hard kilometres. Threshold effort. Garwood then not quite able to catch Barnett. They're matching each other on watts per kilo. Neugebauer 90 metres back. Looks like he's going to get a solid third at this stage. Ramps up slightly more, 1.2%. .300 metres to the finish. I'm trying to zoom out. You can see it's still a little way to go. Barnett now just stretching that lead, 30 metres ahead of Garwood. Inside 150. And Neugebauer gets up into the red numbers. And there's the finish line. Barnett who takes the finish, takes the win. Garwood takes second. Neugebauer is going to take third. And just behind here we've got Rowbottom pushing out the red numbers. Fraser trying to get in front of him, but it's going to be Rowbottom for fourth and Fraser for fifth. Followed by Lambert, sixth place. I didn't quite keep an eye on the time, I must say. That was a bit silly, wasn't it? But we will pull you the full results up from RGT DB as Pedersen comes across in seventh, Baggy in eighth, and here's Keith Aitchison possibly just pipping Dobson there on the line, take ninth. Miller coming across in 11th. Marshall will take 12th. So a little bit further back. Well, here's Duffy trying to catch Marshall. Only 100 metres to go, but he's pushing hard. Doesn't look like he's quite going to make it. Marshall's going to hold on. So a bit further back then, Riley. Just staying ahead of Janssen. Those lot were all quite close towards the finish there. Here's Ed Bowyer just holding ahead of Simon Miller. I think those two are going to set PBs on the course today. Miller 24.37. And that will be a 3 seconds just inside his previous best time there. And Bowyer taking about 10 seconds off their PB. So Harriman just come over. We've missed him and Gardner. So here's Dominguez and Moss. He's got a good finish. He's gone into the red numbers. We've seen that finish line approaching. And he's left Dominguez for dead there. He's put 25 metres into him. In that final little dash for the line. A little bit slower than his time last year. But then you don't know what other racing he's been doing. For his field. Looks like him. Dominguez, they managed to pull away from Armand. Who are in 23rd place. Further 250 metres down the road. They'll be making their way up to the finish line. So I should be able to pull up if I've done this right. There we go, there's the stage results then. Oh, I've slightly messed up my screen. Let's just pull that back. There we go, let's just push that up so we can see. There's the top, soon to be top 20. Greg Barnett then, 23.01. Finishing just slightly 6 seconds behind the course record of 22.55 set by John Cope last season. That would only have seen him finish fourth. Not quite on the podium, but taking the win today. Mark Rowbottom, well, working his way up to fourth. So Greg Barnett in first, Marcus Garwood second, Daniel Neugebauer from the Peddlers team in third, Mark Rowbottom from Rasta in fourth, Ali Fraser in 5th place, and the best placed SDW rider. Then Francis Lambert, Kurt Pedersen, David Baggy, SDW, Keith Aitchison from OTR, Kester Dobson rounding out the top 10, Rob Miller, 24:06, pretty consistent with his time from last season, where he set a 24:02, so just a couple of seconds slower. Exactly the same power rating though. Then Lee Marshall, Chris Duffy, 3 seconds ahead of Philip Riley. He rounds out the SDW. Well, he's SDW on here, but I think there's some other SDWs on the course. Then Jürgen Janssens in 15th, Ed Bowyer 16th, Simon Miller 17th, just inside his previous best. Tom Harriman's in 18th, Warren Gardner in 19th. And Tom Moss in 20th, rounding out the top 20 there. So a few more riders just coming home now. Last couple. Here's Jay Peters coming up to the line. And here I am, the broadcast cam coming last. 27th place. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for getting involved with the chat, asking questions. Thanks once again for this fantastic top. Hopefully get this out on the local roads down here in Devon. I'm sure I'll get a few looks, as it will be unfamiliar in this neck of the woods. But I've got a great little story to tell about how it's come to be. There we go, last one over. And that wraps up today's Friday Frenzy. Once again, very enjoyable race. So we'll be back here next Friday for Frenzy number 4. If you bear with me, I should be able to give you the deets on that. So next week is the back to a loop. It's a 24-kilometre race with 373 metres of climbing, the Wadhurst Loop. So get over to RGT DB, get signed up, check out the details, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks a lot, everyone, and yeah, get out there and support your local clubs.